Good evening and welcome to the thorough newspaper analysis for 21st December 2022. So today we have one editorial article which has been sourced from the Indian Express and is titled Judicial Independence Above All. Secondly, we have the news update, and thirdly, we have the legal news as the next two segments after the editorial discussion in today's rendition of thorough newspaper analysis. So for today's article that is titled as the Judicial Independence Above All, a credible and an impartial judiciary is the pillar on which a democracy rests. Now, irrespective of the confrontations that happen between the government, which can be both the central government and the state government, and the judiciary, it is the duty of the judiciary to uphold what is right and just. For the same to happen, the arms of judiciary must remain independent of the government. Now, of recent, the central government and the judiciary have been embroiled in an argument over the interpretation of Articles 124.2 and 217.1. Article 124, Clause 2 maintains that the President shall appoint a judge of the Supreme Court, that is the apex court of our country, after consultation with such judges and in particular with the CJI and the high courts of the state. Article 217, subclause 1 mentions that all judges of a high court shall be appointed by the president after due discussion with the Chief Justice of India, the governor of the respective state, and the Chief Justice of the respective high court. Now, the collegium system exists for the sole purpose of recommending candidates to be judges in the courts. The rule is that while the center can reject the candidates, if a candidature is reiterated, then the same has to be accepted by the center. So, in easier terms, the collegium selects a candidate and recommends him as a judge. Now, the central government does have the power to reject the candidature of this individual. However, after sending this back, if the collegium system again renominates him for the position of a judge, re-recommends him, then the central government is bound to accept that. Now, the recent stalemate is because the central government has refused to carry on the same against what had been established as the norm in the second judge's case. Such a stalemate, when there are over 24,631 vacancies in both high courts and district courts, are bound to create an impediment in the speed of delivery of justice. It has been also pointed out by many that there is a judicial reform that has been pending for a very long time in the Indian context. Now, the nature of judicial elections are also being used to tarnish the credibility of the judiciary. If the collegium becomes overburdened with the task of nominating candidates, then the same could be passed on to a secretariat as an alternative. However, the main power would still, rest in the hands of the executive. Further, when Vashanta Kumar filed his PIL, it showed that there is a clear need to have a court of appeal. The apex court in the country right now is suffering from the backbreaking pressure appeals against high court orders. When the Supreme Court was established, it was not meant that they would be hearing bail applications, which is now the present scene. In order to remedy the same, a federal court of appeals, as recommended by the Law Commission, would majorly solve this issue. The sought after judicial independence in this regard is a direct result of the credible and impartial way of inducting judges. An appointment must include accountability and impartiality both at the executive and at a personal level. And such a judiciary then would be free from public opinion and political tides. So, with this thought in mind, let's move on to news updates for today. Firstly, we have IDFC FIRST Bank launches zero fee banking on savings accounts. IDFC FIRST Bank declared zero fee banking on savings accounts and waived fees on multiple banking services, including passbook charges and NEFT charges. Zero fee banking means that no fees shall be levied over 25 of the most used facilities by daily consumers. Secondly, Nirapara has been acquired. Now, the Wipro Consumer Care has agreed to acquire Nirapara. Nirapara is one of the largest selling food brands in Kerala, which specializes in spices. This also marks the entry of Wipro into the food category or the FMCG sector. The acquisition will help Wipro to leverage the 70,000 crore rupees spices markets, of which Nirapara is renowned and well received name. Thirdly, Iran to launch communication satellites. Iran's Communication and Information Technology Minister Issa Zarepur has said that the country will launch at least two homegrown satellites into space by March 20th, 2023, which is the end of the Iranian calendar year. The satellites had been developed in 2017 by the Iranian Space Research Center. The name of the satellites that are to be launched are Naheed 1 and Naheed 2. Fourthly, we have the Grih Pravesh program. Recently, the Grih Pravesh program was launched in Agartala for more than 2 lakh beneficiaries under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana urban and rural schemes. In the program, it was also announced that Tripura shall be getting a dental college and a mushroom spawn center shall be inaugurated by the Prime Minister in Meghalaya. Fifthly, we have the International Human Solidarity Day. The entire globe celebrates the 20th of December as the International Human Solidarity Day. It is celebrated to uphold the idea of human solidarity and unity and to reduce poverty in the independent nations. The celebrations are also an aim of the Sustainable Development Agenda of 2030, spearheaded by the United Nations. Sixth, we have West Bengal's Duare Sarkar team wins Center's Digital India Award. The Digital India Awards, which were hosted by the Ministry of Electronics and IT of the central government, witnessed Bengal's flagship program, Duare Sarkar, win the Platinum Award. The Duare Sarkar program was made with an aim to bring the municipal and governmental services right at the doorsteps of the citizens of West Bengal. Seventh, we have China to open school in Dr. Kotnis' name in Solapur. In a tribute to the legendary Indian physician Dr. Dwarkanath Shantaram Kotnis, who was also the Consul General of China, China recently announced that they would open school in his native village, Solapur. Dr. Kotnis was instrumental in providing assistance in the Sino-Japanese War as a medical practitioner. The announcement is supposed to strengthen the ties between China and India. Eighth, we have US prints first banknotes with women's signature. The Treasury, United States of America's Finance Ministry, has printed the first US banknotes with two women's signatures. The new currency notes of $1 and $5 value carry the signature of Secretary of Treasury, American Finance Minister Janet Yellen, who was also the former chairperson of US Central Bank and the Federal Reserve of New York, and the first woman chairperson of Federal Reserve New York, and Lynn Malerba, who is also the chief of the Mohegan tribe. Next up, we have first black woman to be the mayor of Los Angeles. Karen Bass, who is a progressive Democrat, has become the first black woman and the second black individual to take an oath as the mayor of Los Angeles. She was sworn in by Kamala Harris, longtime friend, vice president, and the former California Attorney General. Bass shall face the challenges of combating rising crime in Los Angeles and poverty in the second most populous city of US. Next up, we have the two Indian Americans in Money Magazine's top 50 changemakers. Rohit Chopra, head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and Gaurav Sharma of New York-based fintech firm Capitalize, have been recognized for offering unique perspective on the gaps within our financial systems and how they are working to improve the future of everyday consumers. Now, the Money Magazine's top 50 changemakers, or the Changemaker series, lists out the interviews of individuals who are making a difference in the field of managing personal and professional finance. We also have the FIH Nations Cup. India clinched the inaugural FIH Women's Hockey Nations Cup title with a 1-0 win over Spain in the summit clash. The win sealed India's berth in the 2023-24 Pro League. By virtue of winning the Nations Cup, the Indian team has been promoted to the 2023-2024 FIH Hockey's Women's Pro League, a key event held at the next year's Asian Games and 2024 Paris Olympics. We have also the Tamil Nadu Climate Change Mission. Tamil Nadu is set to become the first state to launch its own climate change mission. It had launched the Green Tamil Nadu Mission last September and Tamil Nadu Wetlands Mission this August. A special purpose vehicle, the Tamil Nadu Green Climate Company, will implement the state climate action plan. The state of Tamil Nadu also aims to reach the carbon neutrality target much ahead of the 2070 target proposed by India in the United Nations. Budget allocations have also been made to fund researchers in this regard. Next up, we have the legal updates for today. We have High Court does not have power to direct investigation to be conducted in a particular manner. Now, the Supreme Court in the case of State of West Bengal versus Sandeep Biswas observed that a High Court does not have the power even under the Articles of 226 of the Constitution of India or Section 482 of the Code of Criminal Procedure to direct the investigation to be conducted in a particular manner. Secondly, we have arbitral tribunals exercising power under Section 17, not strictly bound by CPC. Now, the Calcutta High Court in the case of Gainwell Common Sense Private Limited versus Minsol Limited has held that the arbitral tribunals, while exercising powers under Section 17 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, are not strictly bound by the technicalities of the CPC. The court held that the ambit of the power given to the tribunals for grant of interim relief is to be guided by the basic principles of CPC. However, the strict technicalities cannot prevent the tribunal from securing the ends of justice. Thirdly, we have district magistrate cannot describe period of preventive detention and government's prerogative to do the same. Now, the Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh High Court, in the case of Royal Singh versus UT of J&K, recently observed that a district magistrate, while passing the order of detention, cannot describe the period of detention of the détenu, because it is the government which, after approving the detention, provides the period till the détenu would be detained. Reliance was placed upon Jahangir Ahmed Khan versus State and others, whereby the High Court held that the district magistrate had erred in himself fixing the period of detention as 24 months while issuing the detention order, because the period of detention has to be fixed by the government on confirming the action of the district magistrate. So this was all for today's rendition of the Thought and Newspaper Analysis. For free study materials and TNA PDF slides, please join our Telegram channel, the link of which you can find in the description of this YouTube video, or you can always go forward and scan the barcode that is given on your screen. For any further information, please feel free to visit www.lawsikho.com. Thank you.